Hey, how's it going, guys? Today I am going to do something a little bit different, something I've never done before. But the new Persona 5 trailer just hit at TGS recently, and it is amazing. So I thought I would do a little bit of an analysis with you guys. We can watch it together and pick some of the finer details, just because I am super stoked about this game, and there's so much to talk about. First off, I like this. It's not super important, but each persona has like a main key element that sort of binds it all together, and this one is feeling trapped, imprisoned, and it's really cool to see just your characters running through here, which looks to be like a prison. They're probably escaping from some sort of dungeon, which you'll see again soon. So something's gone bad, and this is where they're trying to escape from, which looks really cool, and I'm imagining this is one of the dungeons. But we'll get to that in a little bit, because most of you will be thinking, like, well, why is there a giant pyramid in Egypt, in Japan? Why are we in a dungeon in Egypt when this game is clearly set in Shibuya? We'll get to that soon, because there is a hint to see why this might happen. So we'll talk about that in a bit. But here is really cool. Our characters are obviously trying to escape from something that's gone bad, and they're talking to Morgana, the cat, as though she can somehow get them an escape car. I don't really know how, but we do know Morgana can transform. We have seen two of her forms. She has a common cat that often hangs around our main character, and you'll see that a lot. And she also has this form, which she would use obviously in dungeons and whatnot. Maybe she has more. Maybe she can turn into some sort of car. Maybe there's more. It'd be really cool to see what she can transform into, because that would open up so much more in battle, because obviously she can attack, and then she obviously has her persona as well, which you'll see again soon, and she can transform. It's like a whole nother element, and it's really cool. Or, on the other hand, she can summon stuff, which again is still cool, because then she has her attack, her persona, and she can summon, which is really weird, but cool. Oh, how stylish is this? I love the red. So here, this is cool. Everyone freaked out here. One, there's Morgana again. It's not very clear on my screen. Hopefully you guys can see it. But you can see Morgana in the bag of our main character. And everyone freaked out here. They were like, oh my god, the area is so big that it needs a mini-map, and Persona 5 is going to be like free roam, and everyone freaked out, and they're like, oh my god, you can walk around wherever the hell you want. I don't think that is the point. Granted, this will be a million times bigger than anything else we've seen in Persona games, and they have said that it's the biggest game Atlas has actually ever made in terms of gameplay and etc. But we already know that the train plays a big part in this game. Whether or not they're just tricking us in trailers because they show it a lot, and it's just because the train accident recently happened, which you can see they're talking about here. But we see it a lot in trailers. We know it's a key point of this game. We know that we can probably go catch a train. So here you go out, you see it again. We know we can catch a train, so I'm imagining the quick travel locations, just like in other Persona games, where you pick, oh, I want to go to town, or I want to go to the shops, or, you know, I want to go to school. I'm imagining those will still stay. Sure, the areas are going to be huge and so much bigger, and you are going to be able to walk around, as you can see, a lot more. But, you know, those elements are going to stay. While we're paused here as well, I want to talk about the minimap. Lots of people love this minimap. There's lots of icons you can see. We can obviously go to the movies, we can go shopping, probably where we can sell items and whatnot. There's a health place where we can go heal or whatever, buy probably medical items for when we go in dungeons. There's a coffee shop, which may be the coffee shop in our hideout, I don't know. Again, it's blurry on my screen, I can't quite tell, but there's a recycling icon. Don't quite know what that is yet. Maybe it's a place where we can take our items that we find in the dungeon and recycle them into getting items similar to how you go to the blacksmith in Persona 4. And there's a couple of items I can't quite make out there. But yeah, that's super cool. So we'll keep playing the trailer. The train station, just while we're here, I'm going to pause a lot. There's so much in this game. The train station looked amazing. I've never been to Japan or Shibuya in particular or anything like that, but everyone that has says this is like spot on. This is how everything looks, and it's really cool to see that. And I can't wait to get lost in this town and really be immersed in it. Okay, so here we see people talking about the accidents. Again, the cat. I love the cat in the backpack. We also see a couple of other things on our minimap. We can see, I think that's a dartboard, so might be a pub. I don't know. We're 16, so I don't think we can go to a pub. But it could be a minigame. We'll see again later. There are a bunch of minigames that we can do, and I'll leave a link to some other things. There's actually another trailer out, or a couple of other video clips where you see a bunch of other video games or mini games you can do. There's also a symbol of a cat, I think. That might be something to do with Morgana. Obviously, Morgana is with us most of the time, but maybe if we take her to that location, she could do something for us, or I don't know. It's really cool to see people walking around and gossiping and talking about rumors and stuff, because Persona is often about rumors. I get goosebumps when I hear of all these accidents. It's really cool to pick up on that, and I imagine as the game progresses, you will sort of get more infamous, and people will start to talk about you as well, even though they don't obviously know it's you. But it'll be really cool to see that. Okay, so here's our school, and it is huge. It looks amazing. Now, I just want to point out, these characters here on our left, pretty much all other characters you see around town, for instance, if we go back here, no one has faces. They're designed to look like crowds, as if you wouldn't notice them, and I really like that. But these characters up here are designed. I don't want to say they're main characters. You might call them B-listers. As you can see, they're also wearing their sports uniform by the looks of it. So I would take a guess to say that, much similar to Persona 4, how you would exit your class and, forgive me, I can't remember their names, but you could either join the soccer club or the basketball club, and they would both be there waiting for you afterwards if you wanted to take in social links. Even though everyone's freaking out, they're like, oh, social links have to be back. The devs have said they're not quite back. They're a little bit different. We'll talk about that soon, because they do sort of hinted it in the trailer. I'm sure they won't get rid of them. People are freaking out because they're like, oh my god, there's no social links. I'm sure they'll be back. They're just something slightly different, tweaked for Persona 5. And again, I want to spot this girl up here. You can't quite see her, but again, compared to all the other students that don't have faces and they're just supposed to look like unnoticeable crowds, this girl up here on the left does stand out. She might be another social link. She might be from the music club or the drama club. So yeah, let's continue playing. And that looks super cool. I can't wait to run around the school. Nothing really to point out here. I actually kind of just stopped to make sure that maybe there was. Maybe this guy here sort of looks like a teacher. He might be one of your teachers. I don't know. I just wanted to look at that again. Doesn't it look super stylish just running through here? And here is another cool thing. Similar to how people might call you in Persona 4, or people come up to you in Persona 3 or whatever, and they're like, oh, I want to go to the dungeon today, or I want to practice. You see the similar thing here, and it runs around your phone. And it's a group chat, and I imagine that it will get bigger as you incorporate more people into your party. I imagine you will. People are freaking out, because they're like, oh, on all the trailers, we've only seen these people. There mustn't be any more. It's like, no, they're obviously going to give more. They just don't want to show you everything. I mean, don't get me wrong. If it is just these guys, I have nothing wrong with that. I would probably still love this game, but don't freak out. These are the trailers. Like, they don't want to show you everything. They don't want to show you all the main characters yet, you know? So this is really cool. They're obviously talking about what are we going to do today? And I feel like going on the thing. So they're obviously talking about going to the dungeon. And here is something really cool. I really like this. If I go forward a little bit, actually. So he's saying, how did the school? So he's obviously referring to this giant castle. Used to be their school. Much similar to Tartarus in Persona 3. So I don't know if, like in Persona 3, every dungeon takes place in this castle or not. It doesn't look like it. It looks like there are other places to go to, so I don't know if this is just one dungeon or if dungeons take place in here. It's very confusing later on because you'll see what I mean. I'll keep playing it. But this is obviously one of them, and this is called the Palace. This is really important. I don't know exactly what to talk about here because it's very confusing. We obviously see our character all bruised and beaten up, and he's in chains. It looks like he's in an interrogation. Now, it is a girl talking, and I don't want to say this as though it's my theory that it'll happen. I just kind of want it to happen. I don't think she'll make an appearance as like a big character, but Persona games love to refer back to other games by leaving a character in. And it would be really cool to see this character here that's interrogating us be Naoto from Persona 4, because we know she is a detective. And if she picked us up and somehow guessed that we were fighting shadows much similar to how she was in her school days, she might sort of get us out of trouble once in a while. There's no, hidden points that might, say that this is true. This is just something that I want to happen, and I can see Atlas doing this. And another thing, while I'm here, she talks about stealing the hearts of other people. This is something that the dev has talked about, and I will leave a link to this page and the video, because the video is cool. It's in Japanese, unfortunately there isn't a translation yet, but it does show some other cool gameplay while he's talking, and there are key points translated in the webpage. But he talks about how stealing people's hearts is sort of the new social link, and you can get into people's hearts by, talking with them and getting to know them, and you can take their heart. Now, I'm thinking perhaps this game does let you choose how you do that. Everyone's freaking out. Everyone's like, oh my god, our main characters are evil. I don't think that's true. I think it could be. I think it's a choice, though. And I think it would be really cool to see if you could romance someone and be really nice to them, or you could bully them into liking you. It could be a choice. I don't know. Again, there's nothing that really refers to that. It's just something I can see Atlas doing. So here we get to see Morgana. This is probably the first time they've met Morgana, because they're very confused about why the cat talks. And here we see Morgana's persona, which is super fucking cool and looks to refer to Zoro. You can see there's got a giant Z on his belt, and he swerves his sword in the Z to just similar to how Zoro would. And I love that persona. Okay, here's another thing that was really cool, and I've watched a couple of other analysis trailers, and people seem to focus on this, because obviously this takes up all the screen. And people are like, oh, maybe this is like some sort of geocache or some way to get into a dungeon. And I think along similar lines, but obviously if you look, and I could be wrong, everything seems to be red because red is their main color in this game. Other games had other colors. Persona 4 had golden, Persona 3 was blue, and so on and so on. So this might just be red because of that. But if you ask me, it looks like it's red because it's evil. And there is also a blue one. Perhaps this is an option. People never notice the blue one. People don't talk about it. I think it could be a way to get into the dungeon. But I think perhaps there are different ways to get into the dungeon. And obviously we see on the bottom here saying, what will you give in return? Perhaps you can give something evil. Or perhaps you can give something of your own, and rather than risk other people. And that is sort of the good option. I sort of think I can see Atlas doing this. Again, nothing that really points to this as a thing, but I can see Atlas doing this as you can choose a way to go in. You can be a bold thief, and you can sort of be like a V for Vendetta type of thing and really show who you are. Or you can sneak in and not let anyone know you were there. And those obviously will both have their own consequences. So this just looks super stylish again. I can't wait to get here. You can see more stuff to do. There's a cocktail bar. There's another cinema. So again, it's not like, oh, I'm going to free roam everywhere and I want to go to the cinema or I want to go to this. There will be key places to go to, and obviously there's different shops at different places. I don't think the whole place will be free roam. But yeah, I just wanted to mention that again. Also, I wanted to mention this guy on the left. Another guy that has a face and stands out amongst the crowd. He looks to be some sort of salesman. I don't really know. He sort of looks like a bad salesman, though, if you see what I mean. He's sort of untidy. Like, he's wearing a suit, but it's really unkept and really untidy and unprofessional, even though he's trying to keep a sort of professional look, if that makes sense. He looks like you might be able to go to him in a black market sort of sense and pick up weapons. There's always someone you can go see in Persona games to go get your weapons from. Maybe this is him. This is the palace, which looks super cool. We never see this in Persona games. This is their more platforming approach, and it looks super cool. This is what made me think that maybe that red and blue thing is a way to sneak in, because you don't just go to the dungeon. You have to get into the dungeon. Maybe there's ways to get in. This looks like the sneaky way. Maybe there's a bold approach. Here we see someone getting attacked. I don't really know what's happening here. The trailer sort of breaks off soon. And don't freak out. I swear, it was a button. I watched this over and over again. When you watch it really quick, that looks like her nipple. It's not! I swear, I checked. Here we see another place, which is really cool. And I don't know what to say. This is sort of what makes me think, oh, maybe the palace is a one-off thing, or other places turn into something similar to Tartarus. But again, you can see them sneaking in, which looks really cool. And off to the left, you can sort of see a similar thing. It might just be a crowd. It might just be, a background image. Pardon me. But it sort of looks like similar to the midnight hour when people turned into coffins. These people have turned into ghosts. Or they're not really there. They're not seeing what's going on, if you get what I mean. And it's really cool. Also, while I'm here, you can also see around the border, there's little like kaleidoscope things, which would suggest that you are now in a dungeon. Just like in Persona 4, you get like the TV border. So I really like that. So here is obviously where, one, where I get confused, and two, where we get the pyramid from. What makes me confused is the palace a place that holds these paintings? I'll play it here. You can see more paintings. You can see it looks like they're selecting a dungeon through this. There's one down here. I don't know what that is. It looks like a sky thing. But do you get into the palace, and then that's a dungeon, and then you can pick dungeons inside of that through these paintings? Or are they separate completely? Is the palace one dungeon, and then what looked like back here looked like an art sort of thing? Is that another dungeon which holds smaller dungeons inside of it? Another thing I want to point out here is all the trailers so far have they've really tried to do their best to make our characters look evil. And everyone was like, oh my god, they're thieves or whatever. Maybe they are breaking into these places just to fight shadows. Maybe they are breaking in here to do the right things, and maybe, for instance, you see them breaking into someplace in one of the other trailers, and it looks like they're stealing stuff. A thief would often break into a museum and steal a painting, which seems, really iconic. Maybe our characters are breaking in to steal these paintings and defend people rather than just steal them and sell them. Here's another really cool one. We get to see our main character's personas here. I absolutely love her persona. It looks so cool. And we get to see how our personas are summoned as well. Obviously, Morgana isn't quite the same, but here we see her ripping off her mask. Oh, sorry, I'm going backwards. I need to go forward. And it's quite brutal. Like, you can see a lot of blood, and they really have to tear it off. And it just looks super cool. I'm so excited for this. Here it is. This is, God, forgive me. It's going to take me a while to learn their names. This is our the male character's persona, which is very piratey. And people were trying to figure out what his element might be, and everyone was like, oh, it's probably ice or whatever. I would be really excited to see water come back. Water was in Persona 1, I think. I haven't played much of Persona 2, but I think it was in that as well. And then it sort of disappeared between 3 and 4. And it'd be really cool to see it come back. And it does look like they are trying to mention back to their other games. We'll see a bit later. The girl's persona, Anne, I think it is obviously fire. We'll talk about that soon. But this character, we know almost nothing about. This is the Fox character everyone freaked out about that they saw in past trailers. Again, you can see him ripping off his mask there. It looks super brutal. And we see his character here. His persona is very typical Japanese fighter, or olden style Japanese fighter, and it looks really cool. I don't know if he is a bad guy or a good guy. If you ask me, he doesn't look like a bad guy. I would say he's probably some sort of detective or agent or something that's hunting down our bad guys. I did air brackets there, air quotes, which you couldn't see. But I would say he's hunting our main characters for what he considers the good reason, but he doesn't really see the bigger picture. And maybe he'll help us later. And another thing I just want to mention while I'm at it is generally our bad guys don't have personas. They usually turn into demons. And if they do have a persona, it's very obviously evil looking. For instance, Adachi had Izanagi. I can't remember what the iteration it was called, but he had a red Izanagi and it looked very evil. I suppose in Persona 3 there was that group of people that were using personas and they were evil, but to me they still just they have a very clear evil vibe to them, if you catch my drift. And we can see him here defeating demons. Usually bad guys sort of don't care. They're like, oh, let them run free, it's for the better good, we'll just destroy the world and the demons will take over and leave those who are, you know, supposed to inhabit the world. Sort of like a Rapture-ish type thing. Here we see another cool thing. So much stuff, right? This looks like an all-out attack. It just looks like one of them. We know that guns are one of the weapons you can have, and then there's melee. And while we're here, the thing that makes me think this is much similar to Persona 1 and 2 is you are fighting personas or demons. You do fight shadows as well, but in the later games, you don't do that. That's not a thing. You have personas that fight shadows, and that's it. This one is a little bit different, and you'll see that again later, why that might be. This looks super cool. I'm not going to stop here. It just looks cool. I don't know much about that. We see someone turning into a shadow here, which looks weird. I'm going to try and speed it up now because I've taken a lot of time. We know the 7 deadly sins have had a mention in the trailer, and it looks like this one might be greed. Perhaps each boss shadow has his deadly sin. He looks like he's turning into something to fly. We also see another one here. I'm going to just quickly stop there so you can see it. This one looks really cool. I'm calling him the Volleyball King. He's obviously crowned like a king. Perhaps he's lost. You can see many voluptuous figures behind him, and there's a girl in his wine glass as well. I don't know if you can see that. But yeah. And he's a Volleyball King. He is going to spike us with volleyballs and annihilate us. So here we again see all the money falling down. Perhaps this is just after a dungeon. I don't know who these people are. I don't think that's our guy. Maybe we were robbing some sort of futuristic... Actually, he is wearing a mask, I think. I can't quite tell. Maybe we were robbing a bank and these people are just escaping. I don't know. There's our Fox guy again, and this is obviously Anne's persona, and it is definitely Agi or Agi. I don't know how you pronounce it. People got very confused about this. It took me a while to realize, but these mice are wearing masks, and I just wanted to talk about this. Again, nothing that hints that this might be true or anything, but everyone was like, well, why are we turned into mice? What's happening? We do know Morgana has some sort of powers, and I can see Atlas having a humorous approach, being like, one of the characters says, "Oh my god, we need to sneak through this area." And they're like, "Well, how can we do that?" And he's like, "I don't know, but we need to be like quiet, like mice." And Morgana would be like, "Ha, I can do that, you know." And they're like, "Wait, what?" And then next minute they turn into mice, which would be really cool. Again, nothing to point to that. I can just see Atlas having that sort of humor. This looks really cool. Just gonna pause there quickly. I don't know what this is. Perhaps this is a vault of some sort. You can see the barcode there. It's very, very weird. We see mini games here. Again, I'll try and put that video in somewhere of another mini game. But it just looks really cool. And on the topic, I was talking to a friend about this. There just looks like so much to do in this. I would assume they have changed their time management. It is very annoying in last Persona games. Again, it's okay when you like really learn to manage your time, but you can only do like what 2 to 3 things a day, because obviously school is mandatory. Perhaps it isn't in this one, but it generally is mandatory. And it's really annoying when you leave the house. It's like, well, you have to stay out all day now. You can't come back home. I would like to see them actually have proper time, and then certain things that you do will take up an allotted amount of hours. Say, I wanted to go to the batting cage and spend 6 hours here, or I wanted to do something for 3 hours, you know. That would be helpful to do more things. Here we see us training, which looks really cool. I would imagine this is some sort of way to train your strength outside of the dungeon. His leg looks fucking freaky there. And Morgana sitting up there watching us. Looks adorable. You can see Morgana in her normal cat form. This is super cool. We can see Ganesh here, one of the personas, or perhaps it's called demons in this one. But you can see him turning into a mask and then coming to us. So let's see that. It'll say Persona Get. Similar to like Pokemon. But yeah, I can see this being like a persuasion technique similar to Persona 1 and 2. And obviously our mask, again, is our summoning thing. Previously there were evokers, then there were tarot cards. This one is definitely masks. And then we see Arson. I'm not going to pause here. We know what Arson looks like. It looks super cool. And that's pretty much everything I wanted to mention. There is more of the trailer, but I honestly don't know what to make of this. This is where it takes a turn and really comes to its more serious point of gameplay. That, again, I will pause there. That looks like our Fox character. Our, perhaps, antagonist. But again, I sort of see... Again, everyone's like, oh my god, we're evil. I can see us being a Robin Hood-esque person, or an anti-hero, as it were. Perhaps this guy is anti to us, but still a good guy. It could just be me, but he just doesn't look like a bad guy. But then again, I never thought Adachi did either. Spoilers. Fuck him. And again, I know I said I wouldn't pause through here, and I'm trying to make this quick because I've already gone for like half an hour. But this just looks like a higher scale of things. I just wanted to point that out. That in Persona games, it's very personal. In Persona 3, you were saving the world. In Persona 4, you were saving your town. But only you guys knew. Whereas here, it looks like everyone knows what is happening. And maybe that comes down to your decisions, like I said before. Here we again see, and this makes me think that you are a V for Vendetta type of person. It looks like he's obviously on a screen, but it looks like he almost wants to be seen. I don't know. Maybe he's like, oh, whatever, I've been captured and this is sort of to the end of the game. And he's like, whatever, it's time to give up. You can all see me now. But I don't know. It's very confusing. Atlas will show so much, and yet it still baffles me. You know, they won't show a lot of their game, obviously. They're not going to show everything. That's why we haven't seen more characters yet. And that's it. I just want to pause there. That is the end of this trailer. Finally, it took me a long time. There was so much to talk about. But yeah, here again makes me see that he either sort of wants to be caught or knows something else is about to happen. He looks happy that he's here. Maybe he has a plan on how to get out. Maybe, like in Persona 3, at a certain time or a certain point, shadows come about and then he gets his powers. Perhaps that time is just rolling over and he's like, it's just about to happen now, I'm just about to break out. And it just looks really cool. Our character looks so confident. I love this character. I didn't at the first, when you first see him as the school student, you're like, oh, he looks kind of weird. And then you really see him like break out of the shell, and he's such a confident, cocky character by the looks of it. And the last thing you will see in this trailer, apart from a bunch of voice actors, which I can't read in Japanese, is 2016. Yes, it has been delayed again. I'm not freaking out because I live in New Zealand, so we were probably going to get it in 2016 anyway. The devs a while ago were like, no, I swear, don't freak out. It's coming out in 2015 for Japan and America, and 2016 for Europe. I sort of don't mind, because I see this as them, like, being, it's going to be such a hassle to release it at different times everywhere. Maybe they just push the release back so they could be like, right, don't freak out, everyone is going to get it out 2016, you know, so we're not being unfair to everyone. We know this is a very popular game. We know everyone wants it. We're not going to make people wait just because of where they are. Obviously, there will be some sort of delay. I imagine it will be quicker in Japan than it will come out in America and Europe. But hopefully the delay will just to be sort of to even the gap between release dates. And that ends it, guys. That ends my analysis. Thank you if you watched this whole thing. Thank you so much for watching and bearing with me and actually paying attention. I didn't expect that to go so long, but there was just so much in that trailer. I will leave a link to the actual trailer if you want to watch it, you know, without me pausing it and talking over it. And I will try and leave links to those other things that I mentioned. Anyways, if you guys liked this video, please let me know. Like I said, I've never actually done anything like this before, but if you enjoyed this, let me know, and maybe I'll do some more of other games. There will be more trailers for this to come out, I'm sure. I don't think TGS is even over at the moment. There might be more. They still have a full TGS site up, and there is a countdown actually happening for something. So yeah. If you liked, please leave a thumbs up, and I will leave a link on the screen, which will take you to my channel, and you can subscribe for plenty more videos. I will see you later, guys. Have a wonderful day!